Hey all, today we're going to be talking about our new topic, which is globalization in the world today. We're going to start talking about some of the issues facing the world and some of the solutions that countries have come up with to try to fix those. Our first lesson is going to be about the United Nations. So the UN was this organization that was set up after World War II to try to prevent those major conflicts from happening again. The idea was that countries should work together to try to maintain peace, promote universal human rights, and try to solve major problems. Okay, so after World War I, they came up with the League of Nations, but it didn't quite work out so well. So they tried to come up with a better way to do things, and that's where we get the UN. The major goal of the UN, though, is to promote human rights throughout the world. Remember, these are rights that people are born with, and they cannot be taken away from you. So you might remember these as natural rights when we talked about the Enlightenment. We've kind of been talking about that all year long. So the first document that the UN ever produced was the UN Declaration of Human Rights. And this was a huge deal because for the first time, countries in the world started agreeing on defining what the most important rights people should have are. And these are things like people should have the right to speak their mind, to practice their religion the way they want to be able to move around their country. Some of them were as basic as people should have a right to call someplace home. And you're going to be learning more about this today. Right? Now, some countries do a great job defending those rights, but some countries don't do a good job defending those rights. And we're going to be talking about that over the course of the next couple of weeks. So the UN is broken up into two groups. The first is the General Assembly. In each country, each member nation, each nation that is a part of the UN, they get one vote in the General Assembly. Okay, and they'll try to figure out solutions to problems and things like that. But each nation, regardless of its size, gets one vote. All right. Now, there's a second part of the UN, and that is the Security Council. Now, there are 10 members on this council. 5 of them are elected by the General Assembly, but 5 of them are permanent members. And these permanent members get what's called a veto. So they can say, no, we're not going to do that. If only one country vetoes, then the resolution fails. They can say, no, we're not going to do that. Okay? So the 5 permanent members are the United States, Russia, China, France, and Great Britain. And what you're going to notice about these countries are these 5 countries were the allies in World War II, right? So they are the winners of World War II. America, Russia, China, France, and Britain, they're the ones who defeated Japan and Nazi Germany. And so as they were setting up the UN, they decided that they would be the permanent members of the Security Council. And the permanent members are the only ones who have that veto power, okay? So the UN is not just about preventing war. There's several other organizations in the UN that do a great job trying to promote human rights and improve the standard of living for people all over the world. The first one is UNESCO. This is the United Nations Education, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. They promote cultural exchanges all over the world. Okay, they try to promote education in schools and things like that. UNICEF is the United Nations Children's Fund, so they do a job. Their job all over the world is to kind of promote medical programs, try to get children into schools and things like that. The World Bank, that is an international organization within the UN that provides loans to poor nations to kind of help them build up so that they can kind of improve the lives of the people living in their country. And the final one is the United Nations Development Program, and they try to help countries develop businesses and industries in a way that is beneficial for their people, right? And you're going to be learning more about those today. So some of the problems that we're going to be talking about over the next couple of weeks, world hunger, poverty, natural disasters, disease, which is in the news right now, so it's really important for us to talk about that, terrorism, human rights, drug trafficking, nuclear weapons, and unsustainable population growth. These are all issues that member nations of the UN try to work to solve, okay? So today's assignment is pretty easy. So in Google Classroom, it is this assignment right here. There you will click on this link, it will take you to the United Nations website. And on this website, it asks, it kind of explains what they do. And it's broken up into 5 parts. And so each of these parts has its own box on here. And what I'm asking you to do is explain each section in 2 sentences in your own words. All right, so I don't want you just copying and pasting. Write it in your own words. And you're going to be using this information to do this part right here. So I've included a couple of definitions for you up here. If you have any questions, you know how to reach out to me. Make sure you're getting all that stuff done from the previous lessons, and I will see you guys later.